Hello out there, YouTube. Welcome to the OKGoodReview channel. And we're picking up, guys, in part 2 where we left off in part 1, guys. The Kiss series, guys, is meant to be sequential, so if you have not gone through and checked out the first part, which covers the introduction of myself to the act, as well as what we're trying to do with this series, and the first 4 Kiss albums, so the self-titled album, Hotter Than Hell, Dressed to Kill, and Alive, guys. Definitely go back and check that out. But for this one, guys, we're going to just travel right along. Now, you can look at Kiss in a lot of different ways. And you can say, hey, grouping the albums by who the lead guitarist is will definitely give you one way of kind of thinking of the band. Grouping it by who the drummer was will also give you another way of kind of looking at the band. My feeling, guys, is I look at their involvement with one Bob Ezrin, guys. Now, Bob Ezrin took them from the path that they were on with the earlier ones, which were, honestly, guys, a lot of kind of goofy songs. They were still fun, still charming, but realistically, they were also goofy. He took them to a completely different direction and a whole new level, starting with Destroyer. So Destroyer, guys, very clearly was something meant to be different right out of the gate. And you can see here, this artwork by Ken Kelly was just tremendous. Ken Kelly, guys, if you don't know who that is easily one of the greatest fantasy painters, guys, we have ever had. We're World is lucky to have Ken Kelly. And he did this phenomenal thing. So you look at this. This is a lot different than, say, this. Right? You've got these larger-than-life, almost superhero type Kiss figures. And they're getting ready to take on all the world. I don't know why they called this Destroyer, guys. I'm a little still not quite clear on that. I think probably it's out there. I think I probably just read it and forgotten it. But man, what Ezrin did, he brought just greater production values. This thing sounds great. He brought effects. He brought arrangements, guys. When you talk about what a producer could do, that's it, right? That's this guy right here. He did the same thing for Alice Cooper. And very clearly, there's a lot of that on here. He brought with him Dick Wagner on guitar, who plays on this record, from Alice Cooper from the Welcome to My Nightmare album. And there is a lot of, even some similarities actually to Alice Cooper songs that show up in little bits and pieces on this record, guys. Is this the best of their career? Who can say, right? I mean, if I had to listen to one album over and over and over again, I don't know that any one album from Kiss would be something I'd want to necessarily do that with. I would, with it, I mean, they've got probably 100 different releases at this point, guys. I only have all the studio albums here in front of me, but there's tons more of, they've done one-off songs, they've done live songs, greatest hits packages, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know that I would listen to any one song. I liked a lot of their 80s period, guys, which is a lot more aggressive than anything they did in the 70s. And this, of course, was from 1976, guys. The first record, unbelievably, you listen to this thing, and it's got strings on it, it's got these huge arrangements, big sweeping stuff. You've got him really, I think Bob Ezrin got some incredible performances, certainly vocally out of Gene Simmons, but also even out of Paul Stanley. Just tremendous, guys. You've got one song from Peter Criss, and that's Beth. That was the radio hit. But if you take Beth out of it, and I almost kind of wish they would have done it as a B-side, the rest of this is just, maybe there's no other album as consistently strong as this. Because there's really not a bad song on here, except for maybe Beth, guys, because it's kind of a weak song. It's sappy and it's dopey, and I mean, it sounds good, and I like the strings and everything. It's not certainly one of my favorite songs by any stretch. But this is loud and thunderous, guys. It got dark. This album was not afraid to get dark with the subject matter at all. There's effects all over it. This, guys, is a must. So, and I think we're going to start doing that now, actually, in what we're doing here, guys. I'm going to start separating the records into a must pile, which will be over there. And we'll wrap this up at the very end. And then there's a pile that is maybe not a must. This one, certainly, guys, is an absolute must, guys. One of the, maybe, I don't know, I hesitate to call it the greatest of their career. One of them, certainly one of the greatest records. Definitely the most cohesive, unquestionably, guys. From there, we go to the second release of 1976, Rock and Roll Over. Now, this one, Eddie Kramer is back at the helm again. So you know it's going to be a good sounding album. Like, there's never going to be any issues there. It may not have all the syncopation and effects and the grandiose nature that, for a production value standpoint, that Bob Ezrin necessarily is going to do. However, it does have a lot. It's really a shot back towards the charm. And I think what they try to do is make a Bob Ezrin album without Bob Ezrin. Honestly, guys, I think that's kind of what happened there. And let's see if there's any graphics in here. Okay, guys, so there is no graphics in here. All we've got is credits again. But this one is another one of their twice-a-year records, and I am not sure they should have done that. So this was 34 minutes, and it was lean and mean at 34 minutes. I mean, if you cut Beth out, it would have been maybe even too short. This one was 33 minutes, and it also is chock full of filler, unfortunately. It also has, this is one of the worst songs that Kiss had. It was Baby Driver. Terrible. That's an outright bad song, guys. Hard Luck Woman was supposed to capitalize on the incredible hit-making ability that Beth did, and it sort of succeeded. Mr. Speed is a song that I thought was really, really good. It just never really quite caught on. And I'm not quite sure, because the guitar is really, really cool in that song. But I think they probably just didn't put it into their live set. We have See You in Your Dreams. I think this is the better version of that song. It also shows up on Gene Simmons' solo album. But I think actually See You in Your Dreams is better on this record. For some reason, Gene didn't like it. That's why he re-recorded it, as the story goes. We've got some cool stuff with Calling Dr. Love. There's for the most part, the Stanley songs are pretty strong on this record. The Simmons songs are less so. Much less so. And that kind of became a pattern, I think, throughout Kiss's career. Here we have Love Gun. Now, this was honestly, one of my favorite records for a while. And listening to it now, it again, we have the whole thing with I just mentioned. The Stanley songs are honestly really good. I Stole Your Love and Love Gun, maybe two of the best songs they have ever done. Tomorrow and Tonight is rock and roll all night, and they're taking a shot at that. Shock Me was a lot of fun. This was the first Ace vocal. Although actually Gene and Paul sound bored doing the background for that. Something I didn't actually even pick up on, guys, until I listened to all these again for this series. This is really somewhat of a Paul album. This is Kiss and Eddie Kramer doing this record. And you can see, I think this is when Paul and Gene really started to say that they wanted to take a lot more control in the producer's booth. And this is another really solid sounding one. It's another good sounding record overall. The Gene songs, again, are honestly pretty weak. interestingly enough, except for Plaster Caster, that's kind of an entertaining song. Another cover, Then She Kissed Me, one of the better versions of that. We have Peter Criss only getting to sing one song this time, and it is the very tedious Hooligan. And let's see what we have here. Okay, guys, and we also have the artwork, once again, from Ken Kelly. It's not, I don't think it's quite up to the level of Destroyer. Not positively. I mean, it's fine. It's nothing wrong with the front cover, I don't think. It just doesn't strike quite the same chord, I think, as Destroyer does. At least not for me. But I do like it. I think it's cool. I have yet to see Ken Kelly produce something that I didn't think was fantastic, guys. He's a treasure. And of course, guys, wrapping it up, we have Alive 2. Now, Alive 2, about 71 minutes, whereas the first Alive record, guys, was 75 minutes. And that was a lean record at 75. This one, they didn't want to double, and I'm not sure if that was a smart idea, but they did not want to double any of the songs on the first Alive, and I'm assuming they thought it would maybe scavenge some of the sales or something like that. We don't see solo spots in here, which I thought was kind of an odd thing to do as well. The cover art is not anywhere near as good as it was on the first record. We've got, I think I might have the gatefold of this also. So there's the stage set, guys, of them for the Love Gun tour. And this would have been 77, I believe. Like, they've always had very impressive stage sets, guys. You can see this is definitely one where they put a lot of stuff back into the band. Certainly. From their success from Alive and of a crazy success from Destroyer and Love Gun. The live songs here are, again, probably modified a little bit. Vocals sound, I think, a little bit better overall. That might have been because they were getting more used to the live show and kind of locking into what Kiss was all about. I honestly don't know. There are 5 studio songs here. I believe Ace played on Rocket Ride only, and I think all the rest of them were Bob Kulick, I believe, did the guitar on those, and I can't remember if Peter Criss drummed on all of them or not. So these 5 songs are all filler, all of them. All American Man, Rockin' in the USA, Larger Than Life, Rocket Ride, and Any Way You Want It. Honestly, not strong. Not strong at all, guys. So, there are 4 for this video right here, guys. We have Destroyer, which was Destroyer, absolutely a must-have. Rock and Roll Over, this is an interesting case. Honestly, the only reason to have this is for Mr. Speed, and I'm not sure that's a good enough reason. Love Gun is stronger than it isn't. If that makes sense to any of you guys. It also has Ace's first vocal. Has some of the best songs of their career, so we'll keep that one. Alive 2. In fact, the Symphony Alive and Alive 4 are honestly the only ones that I would think, in my view, are worth getting, guys. So we have a definite change in the direction of the band post Bob Ezrin. They were going for a lot stronger arrangements, a little bit more syncopation, but they still were clearly a rock band, guys. But I think they were starting to really develop a lot more as songwriters in a lot of cases, guys. And really starting to, the 76, 77 was really when I think they started to really dial in to what Kiss was and what it meant. A lot of the frivolous and fun stuff of Alive and the first records was gone. They were, in a lot of ways, a more serious band. They were still pretty entendre heavy, guys. And it was kind of, it still worked as being playful and charming back then. They've done that actually, in fact, on even their most recent record, and it sounds dated at this point, but I mean that was kind of Kiss, and that's the they held it off for a long, long time, but that's the danger. If you keep going long enough as a band, eventually the audience and the world will pass you by. Because it's just impossible to keep up after a while, guys. Changing tastes and everything. So, there we are, guys. There as at the conclusion here of the second part, guys, where we take a look at all the records leading up to this second double live album, guys, which was, of course, Alive 2. Alive 2, not super necessary, however, guys. And that's kind of where Double Platinum, so Double Platinum came in on the heels of Alive 2. Double Platinum, guys, if you just want to just get all the good stuff, Double Platinum is one of the greatest, that sounds weird, one of the best ofs, one of the greatest hits packages. It really is, guys, one of the all-time most awesome compilations, guys, that any band has done. If you want an introduction to their makeup years, you literally can head just right into that. Just go get Double Platinum, and that was going to help you determine a lot of whether or not you really want to move forward with the band or you don't want to move forward with the band. Obviously, I did. But Double Platinum, I am grateful that that record was there. Because, had I not loved the band with all those awesome songs, I probably wouldn't have tolerated, honestly, guys, I probably would not have tolerated a lot of the padding that a lot of the other records had, guys. So, Double Platinum, it would be also in the must pile. I don't have that record anymore. I might have it on LP, actually, guys, because I think I like the LP. And for a while, I was collecting records because I like the album art. As far as album art goes, definitely, you're never going to get better than the Ken Kelly painting. So, just kind of looking around at what else is here, Kiss has not ever been super strong as far as their front covers. I mean, that's not been a thing. It's not been, Kiss has got this really cool looking album out. They've done one really cool looking album, guys, and that was Psycho Circus. And we'll get into that in the later reviews. Creatures of the Night was also a really good one. I liked that one a lot. Dynasty, I thought, was also pretty good. Outside of that, the Ken Kelly covers are still far and away the best two covers that Kiss ever had, with Destroyer being by far the best, and then Love Gun being a close second. But again, it's kind of cheap because, Ken Kelly. So anyway, guys, that's going to clear us out for part 2, guys. Hopefully you have seen part 1 before you got into this. And stay tuned for part 3 coming up.